Good morning, France. How's everybody doing today? Please let me know if the music's too loud, cause like I'm going freaking deaf. I've got Spirit City open, and for some reason, like I can't like separately level the game, and it won't let me add an audio channel for it. It's kind of weird. Yeah, I don't know. It won't let me control an audio channel specifically for the game, which would be nice if it did, because I'm basically going deaf. Okay, I've played with a couple of different level things. Let me know if that's too quiet now. I am also having an off day due to little sleep. I might switch to Palia or something. An update came out. It's not a big update, but it's an update. Some dusty bones here. I found KGB in Palia last night. I went to bed quite early, like 8 p.m. or 8:30. I was so tired. And I woke up at like 1 in the morning. KGB came on at 2 just as I was getting off. It's good to see you again, KGB. Neff has redeemed a street. Okay. Ruby dragged me out to the mall yesterday. Why? Just because. And we have an apartment showing again today, sometime between 8 a.m. and noon. Which is exactly my stream time, other than an hour prior to that. So to go through the gelatinous cubes where, yeah, they're good at cleaning things. It's a little sticky surface. And also, it's Maraca time for everybody who takes medicine. Good luck. Love it how I just keep my medicine in a joint container. What is ostensibly a joint container. I haven't shaken up my juice yet. Old dungeon janitors. Oh, man, I could go for some more Delicious in Dungeon. That's such a good show. It just makes me think of Delicious in Dungeon. Morning, Conk. Yeah, I was thinking of either doing Palia or co-working today because one, I'm really tired and sore. I think I'm going to fix the sore part by taking some Advil or Tylenol arthritis specifically. Tempted to drink your cola to get some energy. You should eat good food instead. Something slow release. The cola will only give you a sugar spike and then you'll be more tired later, especially if it's not sugar free. Good morning, Ross. Yeah, so at some point, there's going to be an apartment showing. At the same time, they're redoing all of the hardware on the doors. They just recently replaced all the locks, so I guess they're replacing all the handles too. So we're going from brass handles, probably to stainless steel, to match the locks. And they're putting new numbers on the doors, I believe. And the other floors, I have noticed, have started getting their construction. So they're all ripped up. So they started from the top and then went down in the building. I think I'm sewing something out of spare linen fabric, but not sure what. Ooh. I have some linen that's like older than me. Which is what I used on my costume for Conquest. I have to take those pieces apart and re-dye them now that I know how the dye works. So, how much spare linen do you have is the question. Because if you only have a little bit, you might be able to make yourself like a medieval pocket, like the one Bernadette Banner makes. If you've got a lot, you could make a shirt. Or if you only have a little tiny bit, but more than enough to make something that goes around you, you could make like a wrap or a scarf, a handkerchief, underwear. I wanna make my own underwear too. Yep, linen underwear. Small mouse works too. You can make a little stuffed animal, cat toys. You're getting a cat, right? You can make some cat toys. Linen might not be the best for that, but it's also expensive. Could make a hat, a head wrap, gloves. You can make gloves depending on how much you have too. You can make all sorts of things. A bag, pouches. Tesla, are you gonna eat? Come here, my nugget. He wants to stand on my desk and eat. That's what he wants. Okay, calm down, Nugs. Got stuff in the way. Oh, he's so soft. He's so soft and tiny. We found out that a Build-A-Bear went into the mall that we used to go to all the time. There's a Build-A-Bear there now. That was my first time entering a Build-A-Bear ever. Sorry if my camera freaks out. Tesla is in front of it eating his breakfast. Yeah. Build-A-Bears aren't all that interesting. They had like a bunch of they're basically the level of carnival toys now. I wouldn't spend as much money on them as like they would expect you to. This is my first time entering a Build-A-Bear and probably my last time. Let's just say that. I would rather design and make my own plushes. I did buy a Squishmallow yesterday, though. I wasted a little bit of money and I bought a Squishmallow. And he's a raccoon in an Argyle shirt. Yeah, honestly, like, I look at them and the fabric that they use and the stitching and everything, I'm like, this is... It's kind of lame. like, when I think of a Build-A-Bear, I'm like, you know, you get all the parts and, like, you teach someone how to sew it together. But it's basically like you get this pre-made shell. They throw some stuffing in it. And it gets a quick little stitch or zip up, and you're done. And I'm like, I thought Build-A-Bears were more involved than that. You know, and I thought they actually had bears. But they didn't have any bears. Thanks for the hydrate, Neff. I'm just looking to Build-A-Bear, and I'm like, why would... Weird heart thing? I don't know what you're talking about. That was my first time entering a Build-A-Bear. Dancing Dinos. Dancing Dinos. And a cat. Oh my god. I love the glow stick cat. He's beautiful. I wish I were a more high energy streamer so that you guys could use stuff like that. Tesla's still just sitting here. He's vibing. I found more boxes in the recycle last night. The garbage room smells so bad right now. I feel sorry for anyone who's parked on that level. Also, I found out that they're tearing out the fireplace in the mantle, apparently, when we leave. And if that's the case, I might ask them if I can just have it. If I can remove it on my own and just have it. I'll install it in my parents' place. Because if they're getting rid of them, like, that sucks, first of all. But, like, it's a perfectly good fireplace. It's a little electric thing. Wow, my camera's really freaking out today. Tesla doesn't want to eat. He's not hungry. Why is my avatar doing this? What the hell? It's so weird. Basically, the worker would tell you to do something random to give the plush life, and you put a small heart inside the plush. Oh. I have a Build-A-Bear dog named Benjamin, and he was adopted from a used marked store. I have new stuffing and a new heart ceremony. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I mean, they probably still do that art ceremony thing, but it's like, I was looking at these stuffed animals, and I'm like, nah. I would rather just go buy a Squishmallow because it's higher quality. There was something about the quality of those things that I was just like, this looks like something I get out of a Crane game or from, like, a carnival. You know, it was, like, really cheap Chinesium stuff, except you had to pay someone to stuff it for you. That's just what it looked like on the surface. I'm sure they're probably better quality than that, but, like, they had a Toothless, and it looked kind of jank. And I was like, what the hell? The only one I liked was, like, the brown T-Rex that looked kind of like the, you know that inflatable T-Rex costume? That was the only one there that I liked. And only because it's silly. But it was, like, Jurassic Park branded. But it looked just like the inflatable T-Rex suit. And I was like, if I were to have to get one of these, it would probably be that. Although the Halloween collection looked kind of cute, they did have like a Frankenstein axolotl. One of my projects is turning a rocking horse into a plushie. Interesting. I wouldn't know, Conk. but he looked kind of weird. He had kind of like a Havarti expression, except without the open mouth. Tesla, are you vibing with me? Oh, you've got so many eye goops. Ew, what is wrong with you, baby? You are the jankiest cat in the universe. I love you. Here, eat your kibble. Or not. Put your kibble down there. See if you'll eat it from down there. I have a feeling I'm not going to get much painting done today. I'm just so wiped out. You send a pic after you eat. I'm tired. That's how I am, Ross. I'm just tired. Went to bed early, woke up in the middle of the night, was up for a couple of hours, went back to sleep. Didn't sleep very well. Mostly because of pain. Hopefully the pain will go away soon. Nature summoned me. I shall return. What the fuck now? But that's true. You know, make sure you get up and stretch. It's good for you. Even though I've only been streaming for like 26 minutes. Arcanine video sounds amazing. You should share it to the Discord. Yeah, no, pain is never fun. Alright, you sent me a picture of Benjamin. Oh, that's cute. Yeah, that's higher quality than what I saw at the Build-A-Bear. Neff, that bat plushie that you sent me is freaking adorable. That is the cutest gosh darn thing ever. Bye. No power? What do you mean no power? What happened? Bye, KGB. It was nice to see you again. Okay, I'll watch it later, Ross. It sounds really adorable. An Arcanine acting like an actual dog. Like, that's cute. The one tripped over the main power cable, the one for the whole block. I suspect it's the consequences of his president's actions. And he's suffering for it, and that really sucks. Well, that's just how it be. Let's do a little bit more work on the hair, shall we? At least, you know, I can do my job. Maybe not even the hair. Maybe I can clean up the background a little bit. Smooth it all together. These bits where everything is kind of messed up. We should do the same, frankly. What, trip over the power cable? Another one going to the US? Yeah, we absolutely should trip over that power cable. Teach them a lesson. Like, oh, you think you don't need Canada for anything other than taking it over? How about your lack of electricity generation there, buddy? We hate it too, Ross. We also hate it a lot. We know exactly how you guys feel. We also know a lot of the majority of the Americans don't actually feel the way about Canada that the news and everybody in your country makes it out to seem. It's We know that the majority of Americans really do appreciate and love Canada for who we are. We get it, but uh, we have to stand up for ourselves too, unfortunately. We would love it if things could go back to the old ways. But you know, it's a good kick in the pants for us too. We were just dealing with the status quo, and we didn't want to change things. And you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But also, sometimes evolution needs to happen, and that's what happened. We just needed to grow up a little bit, and we did. Our countries are both pretty young. I'm expected to reach across the aisle. Who knows? We're soon being fucked over like everyone else, but at the same time, like I wish I would actually. Yeah. That's about it. But this is what happens when you treat your politics like sports teams. Like, when you're not. When you're voting for a team instead of, like, representation. And this is why the systems that we have in place, you know, like liberals, Democrats, conservatives, Republicans, I find it doesn't really work so well anymore. Like, it worked back in the past when communication was slow, but now communication is instantaneous. You can reach your entire constituency with one post on social media. We don't need to, we don't really need to have teams anymore. Because you're supposed to vote for the representative who's going to best represent your interests. That's how democracy works. But we're at the I'm voting for blue or I'm voting for red levels of choice, and it doesn't work because not everybody on the blue or red team is going to represent the interests that you're necessarily looking at. You want someone who's going to fight for your interests, and this is why we need to teach like civics classes and politics and logic and reasoning and critical thinking. Not, you know, constant mandatory testing. Like Ross Riders is constantly mandatorily testing the the auto filter. Nothing is simple. But people don't want to think. That's just how it is. Humans are inherently lazy creatures. And unless you have like a strong interest in politics and geopolitics, like you're just gonna take the basic information. Like there's some people, they don't know who they're gonna vote for until the day of, and then they go and do a survey. And they don't think about where this survey is coming from or who it's hosted by. And they're like, who should I vote for based on my interests and values? And like the survey could be set up by another country trying to manipulate you. And they don't teach skills that make you have that kind of critical thought anywhere. Not even here. Not in the UK or India or China. They don't teach you those things because the government doesn't want you to think critically. No government does. Well, no. Only the bad governments don't want you to think critically. The good governments want you to think, but the problem is they never actually get to power because, again, people are inherently lazy. It's just like Zelensky has realized the only way to get things out of Donald Trump is not through facts and reasoning, which is why he wore a suit to the latest meeting with Donald Trump, even if it's like a partial, like, pseudo suit. It's more like a mockery of a suit, but it looks enough like one that the Americans were like, yes, this is a great suit. And he understands that the only way to get anything out of Donald Trump is to play to his ego and placate him. And I guarantee you, as soon as Donald Trump is out of office, Zelensky will want nothing to do with the fucker. So... he's just playing the game at this point to get what Ukraine needs, and I'm all for that. Just play Donald Trump like the fiddle that he is. No matter how out of tune he is. You gotta work with what you got, right? I think most of us will, honestly. Wait, my common sense is tingling. Common sense, so rare. It's a superpower. Absolutely it is. I always say common sense is not very common at all. My mom thought it was important how things should be left up to the Lord. Ugh. You see, the fact that Donald Trump is president of the United States is already proof that God doesn't exist. At least not a benevolent God. You know, fiddles are notorious hard to learn how to play. He's a cheap plastic kazoo who thinks he's gold. Ah! Conk, I love you. I think kazoos are still more complicated than Donald Trump. It's like one of those children's recorders you get at the dollar store. Trump is a shadow for the deep state. He kept preaching was from the other side. Absolutely. Everything the Republicans do or say or accuse, let's just say every accusation is a confession with them. You don't need to make up conspiracies or an evil shadow government to be mad at. You can just be mad at the real government. Yup. Thanks for Hydrate Death. Welcome. We're already into the heavy topics first thing in the morning. We're all tired, so we're just like rage against politics. Yeah, I think I'm gonna... change the flow of the hair a bit right here. You're not gonna see the majority of this lovely transition that I'm painting in here, but oh well. I love it how my stream title's Chill Vibes Only, and it's like, this morning is Rage Against the Machine! Alright, let's take a look at this Toothless here. It's very similar to the one I saw, but it, like, the fabric looks higher quality. And it's very adorable. But yeah, yours looks like higher quality fabric than what I saw. Sorry for the weird angles in the painting. There are just some things that are easier for me to paint at certain angles. to the hydrate fantasy? A decade or so? Oh, yeah, no, they would have definitely dropped the quality. Especially as inflation's going up. They have to maintain profitability, and keep in mind they have to pay for all those employees and the spaces and the malls and the equipment. Of course quality is going to drop. Absolutely it would. I am not surprised at all. It looks very similar, but honestly, like, the fabric did not have that kind of plush feeling, that plush look to it. It looked a lot more flat, like it was like textured looking cheap fabric. Hey, just because somebody's a Republican doesn't mean that they aren't smart and aren't actually caring about the important things. That's the problem with, like, being one side is better than the other thoughts is, like, I know people who are conservative supporters. The problem is they're like the minority of people who are like highly intelligent and caring and honest, and they don't see the bad stuff that their side is doing. Or they're like, oh, it can't be that bad. I mean, it's not the majority of the people that I know that support this stuff. And I'm like, well, the problem is it's the party leaders that support this stuff. And that's the problem with accepting the party leadership as it is. Yeah, so, like, just because the guy's, conservative Republican probably has other Christian values doesn't necessarily mean that, he's right or wrong just because of the side he's on. Like, what he's saying in that video, he's 100% correct. So he might be one of the guys who's like, I'm a Republican through and through, but I don't always necessarily support the things that other Republicans support, or maybe he's not like a greedy fuck that you see in the most of Republicans, right? But he could have those conservative Christian values where he's like, women shouldn't vote. But he could have a really good view on, the greed of companies versus the freedom of American artists. And that's a bit of a problem, right? Exactly what Neff said. And this is why, like, I I will still watch like conservative news channels and stuff so that I know what's happening and what thoughts that they're having, so that I'm not blindsided by their opinions on things, and that I can find ways to work around their logical leaps and loopholes to for the betterment of the people around me, which is why I think it's so important that people talk about politics, but talk about politics in a rational way without really getting angry. I know it's really hard not to get angry, especially when, they're like, oh, women shouldn't vote, or, they belong in the kitchen, or they should be raising babies. I have big issues with that as a female creature myself. and, and it's like, and then they have the opposing views of like, oh, women should only be for making babies, but you can't be sexy. It's like you want us to be attractive and have babies for you, but you don't want us to be sexy. You don't want us to express our freedom of individuality in order to attract a mate. that of quality that we would find to be a mate of quality, but uh, you also want us to be pretty, but if we're pretty, we're whores. And that's somehow a bad thing, even though it's literally the oldest profession in humankind. You don't see how your views are in opposition to one another, and it's stupid. And this is why I'm an incubus. But it's like once I was less willing to compromise, we're all meet in the middle. Yeah, and that's what the conservatives are doing, is they are shifting the middle, which is why I am no longer a centrist. I'm left of center. I'm getting pretty far left of center because center keeps moving away from me. The Online Safety Act. Ugh. It's just another way to get your data and control you. Parents should be teaching their children online safety. They should be teaching it in school. It should be a mandatory course and session for all students who operate technology. Computer illiteracy is a big problem. It's like being illiterate in this day and age. There are plenty of people in America who can't read. And that's insane to me. The fact that somebody can't read as an adult, like, how did you get through school? Like, how did you make it past grade 2 if you can't read? I was reading Dragonlance in grade 3 at 9 years old. Now, if you can't read, and there are reasons for why you can't read, like the education system failed you, you didn't have someone like my Oma who it was insistent that we learn how to read from like age 3 and taught us carefully. Yeah, if teachers are forced to pass you up until middle school, that's also a problem. Like, and you admit that you can't read and you want to learn how to read and how to change and grow. Like, I respect that. If you admit that you can't read and you want to learn, that's called growth and intelligence. If you take it as a point of pride, then you're a piece of shit. And you deserve all of the shit you get in life. And by shit, I mean literal, like, garbage shit, bad jobs, you know, a poor quality of life. Like, you deserve it because you refuse to change and you take your stupidity and your ignorance as a point of pride, and that's just dumb. And also, like, pride is a sin, and if you're proud that you can't read, that's not just pride, it's also sloth. And while I am not a religious being in any sense of the word, I also understand from a societal point of view that these things are bad, which is why the church and most religions see these things as bad things, because they lead down the road of slovenliness and melancholy and societal collapse. From a logical point of view, there's a reason why the church was like so important at a point in our society, because it gave education to people in a way that made sense to them when, you know, we didn't have mass education and, you know, public education. But now we have those things, and the problem is we're letting them degrade in favor of giving people more money than they should get. And I think that politicians shouldn't earn more than minimum wage. if you're earning minimum wage as a politician, you're going to want to make sure that the minimum wage goes up in a way that contributes to society. Because you're going to want to earn more money. Because your job is hard. Being a politician, I'm sure, is quite a lot of hard work. There's a lot of travel, there's a lot of ass kissing, you gotta suck up to people, you've got to maintain popularity and like a good look. It's just, it's kind of a shit show, to be honest. I think all of our politicians should be anonymous, too. Just like, you get an avatar, there's a blank face, and you can't use any of your natural charisma or whatever that some people have to run a platform. Lords of Waterdeep IRL, I don't know what that is. It's not a bug, it's a feature, and it fucking sucks. That is a shitty feature. The U.S. had their man in office. What does the U.S. having their man in office in Ukraine have to do with Ukraine? That doesn't make any sense. It's Ukraine. Ukrainians are the ones who decide who's in office. In Ukraine. That's how that works. Your other brother is an idiot. 5 lords run Waterdeep. Each one is masked to keep them anonymous so they can't plot against each other directly. Oh, that, yep. It also means it can't be targeted by assassins, and there's a Lord of Waterdeep from each class / borough. Oh, that's neat. You know the UK government has started a war against 4chan? Really? You can't take on 4chan. That's where Anonymous lives. I mean, Anonymous lives everywhere, but, like, Anonymous basically lives in 4chan. It's where all the internet cesspool goes, and there's just, it's pure anarchy in that place, and I both love it and hate it. Yeah, well, yeah, that's why Putin needs to be stopped, right, Ross? Is because he thinks that every piece of land that the Russians or the USSR, the Soviet Union touched belongs to Russia, and that's literally most of Europe. And he'll once he gets all of that, he'll be like, well, why not the rest of it? And he'll take that too. And this is why Poland is smart. My quarter Polish genes are like, yep, grab your guns, grab your pitchforks, dig trenches, get tanks, big guns, more big guns. So my little European Texas blood were like, guns. When those Russians come for us, we're gonna get them. So as soon as you set foot across our border, it's the same thing with Canada. Canada's building up its military. Our military spending is just exploded because the way America's threatening us. And we're just like, yep. Cross that border and you'll be sorry. We're at that point. And we're just quietly waiting at that point. We won't cross your border, but the moment you set a toe across ours, war crimes are back on the table, baby. That's just how we feel about it. And this is why we're not visiting the US. We discourage others from Canada from visiting the US. We welcome US visitors. Like, please come visit us. Spend your money here. We're quite happy with that. We know our prices are higher than yours, but also, like, our food is higher quality. And, like, just going to Europe for a week, I go to Europe and I'm like, they have, like, nothing that we have in Canada because, like, all of their food quality stuff is even higher than ours, and ours are already pretty stringent. And then you go across the border to the US and you look at their cereal aisle and you're like, no wonder you have a diabetes epidemic. Like, man, your cereal options are really amazing, but holy shit. I mean, shit, if that's all it takes, Mongolia should own like 80% of Europe and Asia? Absolutely. How far back do we go? That's the argument I made to one of my friends who's kind of like, well, I mean, it belonged to Russia first, and I'm like, well, how far back do we go? Do we go back to the people of the steppes? You know, it's current day Mongolia. Do they get to own all of Russia and Europe? What about the descendants or the ancestors of those people? How far back do we go? Does that mean Africa owns the rest of the human race? Because humanity came out of basically Nigeria. So does that mean Nigeria owns the whole of the world? Because when do you stop? What is the logical stop? It doesn't make any sense. The argument is completely invalid because these are modern day lines. We agreed to them in the 1990s, and we said no more taking over countries, no more splitting up countries. These are the lines. We agreed to these when the USSR fell, the Soviet Union fell, and that is that. And Russia broke that peace. And now everybody's breaking that peace, and we're tumbling horribly fast to huge problems that are just completely out of my control. All I can do is hopefully educate people to make better decisions in the future. That is all I can do. But, like, I have to be careful not to fall into an echo chamber of my own thoughts as well. I want to see the opinions of the other side and try to understand them and learn from them and maybe moderate my side a little bit more, because you can swing too far to the left too, and it gets a little bit insane when you do. It's kind of terrifying. I'll look at the photo just a sec. Cute dog. We'll just take Canada before do it. And we'll add a new chapter to the Geneva Conventions. Yep. That's yes. Well, it's because of the Mango Mussolini that people are doubling down, Ross. It's because they see it as legitimate. Legitimifying, verifying their thoughts and feelings on how the things that, you know, society says you can't say out loud, like racism shit. And it's like they see their opinions legitimized in Donald Trump, the stuff that they would get canceled for otherwise. And it's like this is why, like, that 7-month-old that went missing in the States the other day, we're pretty sure the parents killed the baby. We're pretty sure the husband actually killed the baby and beat the wife and made her make up lies to say, like, oh, the baby was kidnapped and, like, it's this huge problem, and we're pretty sure that that's the truth. That the baby is gone, and she's like trying, the wife is said, like, oh, all I heard was a man's voice say hola or hola, and then I blacked out, and when I woke up my baby was gone. And I'm like, Bullshit. It's, I try to remember the whole dingo ate my baby situation, where eventually, like, they did put that lady in jail because they're like, oh, she didn't cry and she had no tears, and, uh, and so she must have killed the baby, but we couldn't find the baby's body, and they put her in prison for like 20 years, and then later they found the remains of the baby, and it had clearly been taken by a dingo. And they're like, oh, we're sorry, too bad, you wasted like half your life in prison, so sad. And I'm like, I try very hard to be like, that's a situation that can be, not everybody reacts to stress the same way, the mother may not be showing actual tears and actual crying, but she could be very upset, and maybe this did actually happen, but we'll wait for more evidence to come out, because that is the most important thing at the end of the day. Evidence is what matters the most. But part of that evidence is picking out the inconsistencies in their stories, and when they did so, the family shut down, stopped helping the investigation, and lawyered up, and that is a big, clear indicator that you are fucked. And it's like, she was so ready to blame a Hispanic person for the loss of her child. And she's willing to throw an entire group of people in her nation under the bus. And that's the result of Donald Trump making these ideas of lesser races in the United States being problematic, or even being a thing, and that's what makes it problematic. It allows people to blame others for their own faults and like throw whole groups under the bus, and it's stupid. And like, the husband, he doesn't look very white either, and he's willing to, throw another minority group under the bus. Like, you couldn't have blamed like a white crackhead? Instead, you blame someone who speaks Spanish? You could be white and speak Spanish. We had some people at Conquest who were like really uncomfortable with a group called Wulong.
Silver1754 says, why are wolves so freaking adorbs?
And Wulong is a player character run group in the Tross, the village, that their whole aesthetic is like Asian based, and apparently they walked into the more Asian centric part of our camp called Hightower, just saying like ni hao, and apparently that made them really uncomfortable. And some people are like, oh, if you're white you shouldn't be using those phrases, but like, I watch a YouTuber who was born and raised in Japan, and she's as white as you get, but she's a native Japanese speaker. I also know another one that's Chinese. White is all get out. Eastern European blood, but was born and raised there. And it comes a point where you ask, what is culture? Is culture blood, or is culture where you were born and raised? And I'm very much of culture is where you were born and raised. And it's like, you can't judge these people. You can't judge the group from Wulong and say that, oh, you can't say things in Chinese because you're not Chinese. You can't greet people from China in Chinese because you're not Chinese. That doesn't make any sense. And like, I don't know the full story of what made this person so uncomfortable, but the way I look at it is, you can't say something's not your culture to someone who doesn't look like they're part of that cultural group, because they could very well be. They're just not part of that cultural group by genetics. And that's the problem with saying, like, you can't do this because you're white, or you can't do that because you're black, or because you're Spanish, or because you're Asian, or We live in an international community, in an international world, where people of other races, quote unquote, I hate that term by the way, people of other genetic groups of humans are born and raised in those cultural regions, and that is their culture. As far as they're concerned, it's the only thing they know. So you have to stop and remember that just because someone looks Asian doesn't mean they're not Canadian or American or German. And this is the problem with the whole cultural appropriation movement from the left. That's why I hate it. You cannot appropriate culture anymore because culture is global. We should be sharing culture, and this is a lot of like the girl who wore a qipao for her prom dress. She got savagely flagged by people, mostly of people of Western culture, and people of Asian descendants in Western culture, whereas the people who were like actually part of that culture in China were like, no, that's beautiful, we want people to share our culture. You know, like Nameless's entire culture is based off of a combination of some fantasy stuff that like I grew up knowing, and then largely a lot of like historical and even historical fantasy aspects of ancient China, Japan, and Polynesia, just all kind of blended and jumbled into one. And like I did a lot of research to make sure that like I would try not to offend anybody, because like I'm creating a fantasy race of demons who live on a group of volcanic islands in the ocean in a fantasy world, and I wanted to give it that kind of fantastical expression. And like I'm really into a lot of the like Chinese mythology right now, so like I wanted to drag a bit of that love and appreciation I have for such an ancient culture, because Canadian is not very old. We don't have a lot of that, unless you look at like the Native American cultures, and they have like deep, rich histories and mythologies and fantastical beasts. They just didn't get to express that very long before like the Western Europeans arrived and trampled all of that out. Like, where would the Native American nations be today if we hadn't, and I say we as in the like European we, hadn't come and basically annihilated them? Like, what kind of rich and fantastic countries would be in North America now if white Europeans had never arrived? And the North American cultures that were here prior had developed into city-states and nations, and developed their own technology. Like, the idea of that is fascinating to me, which is why I want to learn more about our native peoples, because like I want to learn more about their art and their music and their culture and their fashion and their building. And I know plenty of people who are part Native American. They're like 1/16 Native American, but that's just how things are nowadays. So I went on a rant and I stopped reading everything. Ah! Also, by my brother's logic, I know those Native Americans should have kept this land. Absolutely. We stop when we get back to Krog and the tribe of cavemen who fuck Neanderthals. To try not falling in a rabbit hole and was surrounded by conservatives. We didn't compromise it. The reason why I refuse to talk much about politics. Yeah. Innocent until proven guilty. Yep. the whole the baby ate my dingo thing comes to mind, but there's enough of um, what was I trying to say? There's enough evidence coming out to support that there is something fishy going on, including the husband's background with child assault charges and previous charges for violence, child violence, and yeah, I think he probably beat that baby to death, and it's horrible to think about. The child is severely disabled, as I understand it too. Road chicken running, Handy Manny, and Bob the Builder. And Handy Manny was arrested for supposedly being an illegal immigrant. The comment was like, if he was a citizen, why was he shouting in Spanish in a panic? Yeah. People speak other languages. My grandmother never learned how really to read and write in English. She was Dutch. And that doesn't mean that she was an illegal immigrant. She was an immigrant, but she wasn't illegal. It's just, she was old enough that learning another language was difficult for her, and there are other people with language learning disabilities like myself. Like, if I moved to Germany, I would very much struggle to learn German, even though it was technically my first language. But ADHD does that. Yeah, you could be raised in the U.S. and still have Spanish as your mother tongue, just like, a good portion of my country speaks French as their native tongue. There are plenty of people in Canada who do not speak any English at all. French is their first language. Transplants born and raised in one place and moved to live in another. Yep, that happens too. We have there's a linguist YouTuber who makes entire videos responding to people in their own language perfectly, and most of the time the people are talking shit about him because they think he doesn't know their language. Yes! Yes, I love his channel so much. The guy's a linguistic genius. And I love seeing those videos. It's sad because we'll never know if they learned a lesson or not. The fact that they were embarrassed shows that they learned something. And I will get Neff's hydrate now. Stretch. Thanks for the stretch, Neff. Enjoy your nap in the shade. There's some family friends who are native Filipino who grew up since toddlers in Germany and have lived in the U.S. since early 20s and joined the Air Force. So are they Filipino, German, or American? Yeah, and that's the problem with ascribing like a region or whatever to someone as like their culture. We're ascribing culture to race. They grew up since toddlers in Germany and have lived in the U.S. since their early 20s, so I would say that they're German. Well, they're Americans with who grew up in Germany, and they're it's hard to explain because like they're Filipino, so they're native Filipino, but they grew up in Germany, so they're Germans, but now they are Americans. Yep. Anyways, tough subjects. It's hard to appease everybody, but I do like to remind people that just because someone is of one cultural group does not mean that they are, or one physical group does not mean they are part of that cultural group. I know plenty of people who are also, you know, they look Chinese, but they are like the whitest white people you could ever know. I have more Asian inclinations than they do. But like their parents came from China, but they don't really have much connection to that culture, period. Whereas, like, you know, I like to do research and I like to learn things about other cultures, and then I take that knowledge and I create more cultures from them for fantasy realms. I mean, that's what Tolkien did for the elves and the hobbits and the dwarves. He made their own languages based on based on other languages that were dead or dying, as a way to preserve those languages in a sense. And no one ever accused him of cultural appropriation, but like those groups weren't his culture. Now they look back at it and go, "Oh, he did such an amazing thing for the world by, you know, learning about these languages and recording them and learning about the culture that these languages came from, these like microcultures." And then, you know, you look at China and like how many different languages there are actually in China. There are subgroups in China who can't communicate with one another even though they're Chinese effectively, because their languages are so vastly different. And are you going to say that those people aren't part of the Chinese cultural group because they don't speak Mandarin or Cantonese, or, you know, one of the bigger subgroups of the Chinese languages? Like, that doesn't make any sense. This is why I don't like the whole cultural appropriation stuff. I just find it abhorrent. There's one YouTuber that, like, I was looking for patterns and instructions on how to make hanfu, and she had a video on how white people aren't allowed to wear hanfu because they're not Chinese. Meanwhile, there's a Black American YouTuber who probably knows more about hanfu than this other Chinese American YouTuber, because she's just done so much research, because she has such a love for the fashion style. And it's like, who has more legitimacy? The Chinese American girl or the Black American girl who has extensive knowledge in this information? What about kimono? There's a German Japanese girl. She's German by birth, and she moved to Japan and she became an expert in kimono. How is, you know, someone who's born in Japan and knows nothing about kimono more legitimate than her and her knowledge when she's certified as a kimono expert? Just because the person is Japanese doesn't mean they know anything about kimono. And we come down to the whole, like, by the power of white girl, I'm offended on your behalf. Whether you like it or not. And it's stupid. Yeah, a fantasy. I'm 11% Irish, Scottish, and Welsh, and part of Finnish and Swedish. Like, I'm German, Dutch, and Polish. It's like, should I hate myself? like by genetics and like groups of people, I'm German, Dutch, and Polish, but I am Canadian. That is what I am. I'm Canadian because that is my culture. That is where I grew up. Those are the values that I learned growing up. Those are the things that the experiences that make me who I am, and that's what culture is. And if you were born and raised in China, but, you know, you're like South African by blood, like pure South African, does that make you South African or Chinese? I think that makes you Chinese, because you were born and raised there and you have Chinese citizenship. You're Chinese. You know, that's the culture that you experience, the values that you grew up experiencing. The only home that you know would be China. So that makes you Chinese. Because that's just what countries are. They're just borders that encase groups of people. Yeah, but you're an American. Yeah, Ross is an American. Just because half of his family came voluntarily and the other half did not, doesn't make him any less American. It's like the Dreamers and the DACA kids. They're Americans. The people who come over, you know, someone who came to Canada yesterday, and they're moving to Canada. They've got their citizenship, and they arrived. I consider them Canadian. Their culture might be different, but they're Canadian because they chose to be here, and they're contributing to society. They're paying taxes, etc. They're working for the betterment of their life. They're Canadian. But culturally, maybe they came from Holland or the Netherlands. Holland is a part of the Netherlands. Or, you know, maybe they came from Japan or Australia or Norway or Nigeria. Maybe they came from somewhere in the Middle East. You know, that's their culture. But it doesn't mean they can't be Canadian either. But, like, that's the great thing about Canada, as well as, like, we're not a melting pot, we're more like a stew. You know, you get big chunks of potatoes and big chunks of meat and carrot, maybe a bit of onion here and there, and we've got this broth that's just Canada. You know, that we love and appreciate everybody who comes here, as long as you don't commit crimes. You know, and like, you allow people to have the freedom of belief and the expectations outlined in our Charter of Rights and Freedoms. That's what makes you Canadian. And we love it when people bring other culture here. We love to experience things here, and we don't say like, oh, you have to assimilate. That's the big difference between Canada and the US. We're neighbors, but we're not the same. And fantasy is boop my snoot. It is the boop snoot. Like the derp snoot. But it is the snoot that gets booped. The boop snoot. I know, like, topics have been really heavy today. And, like, the apartment people have not come in yet. I hate waiting. But, you know, I think it's a good conversation, too. It's better to have a conversation and, like, think about things carefully as opposed to, like, just getting upset about things. And, like, you know, maybe somebody will watch the VOD for this one day and they will have had the opinions like, oh, you can't use, you know, Chinese culture stuff if you're not Chinese. But then they'll realize that, well, you know, maybe that person might be Chinese culturally, they just don't look Chinese, you know? It's the same way for Americans and Germans. And, like, there's this Japanese guy, he's, like, straight up Japanese. He was born and raised in Japan, he's, like, culturally Japanese, but he loves German culture. And as someone who was born in Germany and is German by their family tree, I love the idea of that. The man is a professional yodeler. A Japanese yodeler who sings in German. And he wears lederhosen and everything. And he's just, like, taking his Japanese culture and the German culture and he's, like, blended them together in such a fun way, and I love it. It's the guy who sings a song called Chicken Attack. If you haven't seen it, go find it and watch it, because it's hilarious and I love it. And as someone who is, like, historically German and raised by a German mother with a lot of German values, and even though, like, my Dutch blood is stronger than my German blood, I'm 50% Dutch and I'm only 25% German. For some reason, the German culture just identified with me more. Probably because I spent more time with my mother as opposed to my father. Even though, like, we lived in the same house, I was raised by both parents at the same time. I just, you know, culturally, I'm more attuned to the German side. And, like, I think that's great. You know, a Japanese dude who fell in love with German culture and became a professional yodeler, like, that's a story. Come on, man. And you don't see any Germans getting mad at him for cultural appropriation. I think it's great. This is what cultural appropriation thing is, like, problematic and stupid. It holds no weight in my life. If someone's like, oh, you're appropriating my culture, yeah, I'll be like, shut the fuck up. That was my Windows Defender summary. How do I really feel? I feel like my snoot has been booped. And welcome back, Necromancer. I'm still doing the same thing I was doing like an hour ago, which is painting her hair. feet everywhere. Feet! This dog does anything more. Trying to make some kind of fan fiction. To be honest, if I'm in tune with Irish folk music, the Norwegian kind of sucks. What, the music? Norwegian folk music kind of sucks? Or, it sucks that you, feel more in tune with Irish folk music? Because, I mean, Irish folk music is rad. I mean, come on. It slaps. As the kids say. Or maybe the kids used to say. I don't even know what the kids are saying anymore. Well, most of what they say doesn't make any fucking sense nowadays. I've become old. Okay, I'm gonna turn off this. And you know what? Never mind, we're gonna next duplication. Here we go. I don't generally like using the symmetry ruler on organics, but I think in this case, because she's a succubus, it's like nearly perfect, but not totally perfect, you know? And I think in the case of the horns, it would be better if they were off nearly totally symmetrical. Norwegian folk music sucks. Sounds like a bunch of drunk old people singing. Norway music invented nightcore. I mean, that's not bad. It's different. Gonna zoom out a little bit and pull back from this and see where we're sitting at. Just need to take a little step back from it. See, I'm very particular about my, the type of jazz I listen to. And also, same with rap, like, I'm very particular about it. Nephew, thank you for the hydrate in the street. I need to smooth out some of the painting on that other hand. That was a good stretch. My hair's starting to look better. I think I still need to add something to it. I think maybe once I start getting that texture in the horns, it'll be better, but... Still liking the swirls of the smoke in the background, towards the bottom. Similar, to be honest, more so since a lot of rap songs, to me, have, for want of a better phrase, aged poorly in a bunch of regards. Yeah. It largely depends on the content of the rap. Something like, I don't know if it's the actual name of the song, but like Row Row Fight the Power, that one, like, good song. Good piece. Things that have good, strong messages are great, but ones that are just like about guns and money and hoes, I'm just like, that's stupid. Yeah. I really liked 90s rap for the most part, like the early 90s. I much preferred that style. And then, like, you get into the 2000s and late 2000s, and it's just like, ugh. But, like, I feel the same way about pop in the 2000s as well. It's just, most of it's garbage. But then you get, like, good groups. You know, like, I like Nine Inch Nails and Tool. Um, Fall Out Boy. I like some MSI. But then I like things like Ace of Base. Yep. Yeah, you know, rap was always more about was like I feel like the culture of rap was always supposed to be more about commentary as opposed to bragging, but somewhere along the lines from like the late 90s to the mid 2010s, or mostly just like 2010-ish, it became more about bragging and power than about really like cultural aspects. And I think like pop of the 2000s as well did the same thing. But then you get bands like Nirvana who their whole thing is about commentary. You know, grunge as well, like grunge music is all about commentary against politics. Rock was about breaking the status quo of like the 1950s to 1970s, where like uh, you know, proper society, like what qualifies as proper society, and it's like breakout against that. And eventually it also became commercialized and wrapped up in a package for the masses. And that's, you know, that every music genre goes through that too. I mean, even classical to a degree went through that. Even Nightcore itself is a commentary, and that's the whole thing about music and art and expression is like, you know, you look at the animes that are coming out nowadays and you're just like, wow, this is generic bullshit. But like, you know, a lot of the times, like the older animes have a lot of commentary, and something like Akira itself is a great piece of commentary on, you know, end stage capitalism and government overreach and yep. And like Eminem's music is very, very good. I mean, the man's smart. Even Marilyn Manson, like, you watch an interview with Marilyn Manson, and he's actually an articulate, you know, intelligent man. But like shock rock is a genre. Like it's meant to invoke feelings, and people like God in the 90s, you know, the Karens were just like, oh, you know, he's evil, he's satanic. It's the whole thing where like a genre is a commentary against the status quo, and the status quo is trying really hard to crush it. And that's what most musical genres are. So when you see something that's starting to become really popular and well known, especially because, you know, whoever's currently in charge is against it, really says a lot about the genre. Jazz too. Jazz is in itself another, you know, it was created by a group of people, and then it was appropriated by the larger masses. But like, jazz is a reflection of the African American culture in southern United States. Same thing with bluegrass and gospel and that's what's so fascinating about music. It's poetry to sound. And poetry is always about commentary. And sometimes it's superficial. Sometimes it's obvious. Sometimes it's really lame. Yeah, that was Psy. Necromancer says Gesundheit! Yeah, I think doing her horns with the symmetry ruler was definitely the way to go. Having lopsided horns on your succubus just doesn't work. Yeah, not everybody's an artist. So, like, some poets are better than others, just like every movement in painting is a product of its time and is a commentary on society. Whether it's Impressionism or Picasso or Jackson Pollock, architecture is the same thing. Well, what? Can't, your succubus with non-symmetrical... I am confused, Necromancer. Necromancer said Gesundheit. What's up?
Keep hearing banging and thinking it's knocking, but I think they're just doing more stuff in the hallway.
Yeah, well, they're supposed to do the door handles today and the numbers and stuff. Which is really inconvenient because now we have to wait for people to possibly not show up.
Again.
Yeah. Wearing your Minecraft hoodie, I see. I miss my Minecraft hoodie. I still have it. I'm just too fat. Well, can't have your succubus with non-symmetrical horns. No, we can't. Even my horns are symmetrical, see? And I'm an incubus. You can't take away my horny. See, they're on my head. Ugh. I just feel kind of sick today. It's the worst. I don't know what's wrong with me today. I'm just feeling kind of... Pal time? Maybe. Maybe we should switch to Palia. There's not much to do in Palia, but like I can show you guys like the new system that they have for like the quests. We'll transition over to Palia a bit. So I think like I'll just slowly drift us out of Spirit City. And turn on the game. Turn off the art. Game, hello. Well then, I have to switch to this window. Okay, here we go. That should, there we are. Now I have to make Palia small. Oh. Game, seriously? I accidentally closed the game and then it wasn't closing properly. Okay. I want to go into my settings. I just want window mode. Hello? Hello? That. Okay. We have the window. Can I move my window? Thank you. Jesus Christ, game. I need to be able to see the rest of my screen. There's a new event that comes up at noon on the server. Where you can collect flowers. Of course, it's very far from noon. I should be able to theoretically at least go and get a frog thing. So let's go to the Elderwood. I think I'll probably play for another hour and then... This is also a bit of a problem. The servers are struggling a bit. I'll probably play for another hour and then stop because I'm really not feeling well today. I don't know what it is. Apparently, Sir Hoppington is going to be leaving us soon. Mushroom. I'll take the butterfly too. I need money. But yes, Sir Hoppington is going to be leaving us soon, so I will go and grab that. Sir Hoppington was this way. Stardew Valley time. Yeah, so this dude, he's apparently leaving soon. 250,000. Ugh. Well, it helps if I actually have the right... the right ammo selected. I actually need the green scales. Flotato! platinum. I mostly wanted to go get the Sir Hoppington, and I thought that was the last one, and I'm just like, I need so much money. I'm struggling to tell my new character for a pattern there. I will help you after stream if I can. Apparently, now you can get jellyfish plushes too. Ugh. Hello? I hate catching these fish. Your owl is flying sideways, sir. Or ma'am. Their owl is sideways. Why is their owl sideways? I need stronger arrows. No! Why am I all the way back over here? What the fuck? Well, I guess I'm going this way now. Avid! Avid! We just started up some Palia, because I'm kind of not feeling well today. How you doing, Evan? Thanks for stopping by. You. Give me your scales. Where did... What the heck? just went so far away. That was weird. Yeah, we just started up Palia like maybe 6 or 7 minutes ago. You just missed some of the succubus work. Actually, I want to go over here. Hello? How you doing today, Evan? Oh, Evan, you said you sent out that card, right? I don't know when it was sent, but it never arrived. So, I don't know. And I'm moving soon. Moving at the end of the month. Not this month, but next month. So, I've already... Actually, we should open those. Canada Post, ugh. It's alright. It's possible that it got lost. Which would suck. Canada Post really is the worst. I hate you. Hello? Oh, wait, can I actually send you another one? Okay. I mean, like, you don't have to, it's just... I know you said you sent it, so I'm just worried, like, why it didn't arrive. I mean, I could send you my new address, instead. So it will hopefully get to the place where I'm going, and then it won't possibly get lost in the move, because I will treasure it forever. Ah, so it's just my really shitty luck. I have, like, the worst luck in the universe. I really, really do. Let's make some more glass panes. Well, these are broken. Usually only to the US, but sometimes Canada gets lost. Yeah. This is me we're talking about. I have the universe's worst luck, so let's be honest, it's probably me, not you. I'm making mushroom leather. These are 33, 13, 11. Oh, mushroom leather. Ooh. He says in the Thorgan it took 3 months to get to Ontario. What the hell is going on in the West? Crikey. Well, I do have mail forwarding, so, like, if you want to wait, then I'll wait. So, mail forwarding, if it shows up, then it will, Oh, I wanted to make some stuff. It will end up going to my parents' place anyways. Ouch! Just stubbed my toe on my desk. But yeah, I just wanted to let you know that that it hasn't showed up yet, and I feel really bad. Because I also know that you're busy. I need to make... Hello? Need to make chairs. Ugh, should have eaten something. Oh well. Whee. Thank you, Necromancer, for hosting Evan.
Necromancer Dark is hosting a guest. Welcome Evan Blair Art to the island.
And to Necrocon, as usual. Oh, hello? Universe? Guys, I've entered the void dimension. It's so sparkly. Am I dead? Oh my gosh, this is a handsome and correct opinion. Eh? Oh, that person vanished. Am I dead, guys? What is happening? Hold on. We're going to... Let's try that. Guys, help. I can't go back to the homestead. It's so sparkly. I think I died. 0 players. There are other people on my server. Is anyone else in the ether? Hello? Lady boss? Help! Help! I'm trapped! Hello? This should be where the homestead entrance is. Okay, we're gonna have to quit the game and reload. Sorry about that, guys. I don't. I've died. that was. It was very sparkly. Sparkly, but a little bit lonely. Okay. Let's see what happens. The server's probably died. I have no idea what happened there. Well, I was gonna try and show you what happens at noon. Oh, free stuff. The Twitch drops. 5 plushie pools? What am I gonna do with those? Okay, we'll use this. Oh, it still says art. Thank you so much. There, we'll change the stream title to Scuff Palia. Now, I won't be able to use that thing for another half hour. I don't know what I'm gonna do with 5 plushie pools. You know what? Let's go cook a couple of things and then we'll... One of these is still growing. There we go. Ooh, seeds. Okay. There are a couple of things that I needed to cook. I need to make a celebration cake, I believe. I do need to make this. This is a bit of a scary thing to cook because it requires a lot of work. We're gonna cook some things and then we're gonna try going back to the, Hello? My mouse is rebelling. Actually, I don't think I've ever cooked this before. Unless they've changed the recipe. Oh. I need to make this. And this. Yeah, I don't think I've ever made this before, guys. This looks very tasty, though. I need a Palia cookbook. Spicy honey baked Mugen. I have to make a celebration cake too, but I think I have to do that here? No? Here? You haven't logged in since we last played as a group? Well, you should probably fix that. You should log in and play. What else have we got? Fruit frosting. Cake batter? Why can't I make that? Oh, I need sweetie. Probably that. Cake batter, make. You're able to make every recipe on your own. It just depends on how fast you can do things. Cake batter. Hello? Cake batter? No, 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 no. This. Grab that. Oh, and... like, what am I doing? Oh, I haven't made the fruit frosting either. I'm smart. Problem trying to start this recipe? I don't know what problem you got with me. Well, there's a lot of weird shit happening, guys. At least if you're watching now, you'll get the Palia rewards for a little bit. There are drops on Twitch right now. Okay. We're gonna try to go do the daytime thing. And we're gonna go turn in these bundles. They now have new bundle icons, so if you have something for a bundle, you'll know it goes in a thing. They also have limited, like, seasonal events or monthly events. Hello, Kadekochu. And that was Boot My Snoot. It is the boop snoot, like the droop snoot, but it is the snoot that gets booped. Will we be in the void? We'll find out. Yay, we're not in the void. Woohoo! We're saved. I see you just launched Palia. We're gonna go turn in some stuff for the monthly bundle. How you doing today? You're very affectionate. Alright. We can turn in this and this. And we can turn in our chairs. Woohoo! Alright, then we need to shake you for the pass. Aww. Well, I hope you feel better soon. I'm gonna go refill our thing. And the new event is about to start. Now we gotta find the orange glow in the sky. It shows up at 11. Ah! Thanks for the hydrate. And now we've just got to run around the map and hope it shows up. Where it can be, I don't know. It doesn't appear to be here, though. That's one place I know it can appear. I don't know what the other place... I know one other place that it can appear. Never ordained a posture check. Everybody unshrimp thine spines. Give your neck a little stretch. Not too much, though. You don't want to overdo it on the neck. Be careful with that. We'll go to Whispering Banks. What happened with that? It's not there either. But I need some of this stuff. Ah, it's right here. We are... Oh, someone else got to it before me. This is the new event, so you grow flowers by watering them, and it's like a group effort. And the flowers will get weeds on them. And you have to weed them as well, and the weeds grow really fast. Come on, Mia. So, the glow shows up at 11, and you can start the event at 12. You will all work together to grow the flowers. and the flowers will disappear at 4 o'clock-ish. You can get things like potato pods and rewards. So there's a potato pod there, prize bag. Nice, nice, nice. And the more people that participate, the better. I'm gonna eat a cake. Just eat a whole cake while picking flowers. Yes. And if you're fast enough, you can switch servers. You're still obsessed with Sashomaru. Look, he's a good character, alright? If you're fast enough and you can switch servers fast enough, you can go and do it twice. The problem is, like, there's server loading problems, so that there's a bit of server stress with people doing the same thing. And if your loading is even faster, and you get to a server where people know where the bloom is, then you can even do it 3 times. So, I'll just ask in chat where the bloom is. And then go and run and check the 2 spots that I know. H6? Oh. It's on a different spot on every server. So, it looks like there's at least 3 places so far that I know of where it shows up. Yeah, it looks like the loading is nice and fast today. I've already got overflow. We'll give them thanks, and then we run immediately back. I'm gonna grab this copper though, because I need quartz still. They've changed the range in which you can hit stuff. I feel like... Oh, I remember that. Can't remember what the wall scroll looks like, but I do remember that. Wasn't that the year that, like, one of your friends was like, oh, anime is for kids and losers. Well, now that I know you still like Sashomaru. I know what kind of gifts to give you in the future. My first demon man love, yep. Ah! Thanks for the hydrate again. That's sand. Okay, so it's not at H6 this time. We'll check I6. Okay, it's not I6. we'll go back to Leaf Hopper. Leaf Hopper. Why do you go this way? Yay, we got some quartz. Okay, so this is the other location that I know where the bloom can be. Oh, I-4. So we gotta run back. So now we know of a fourth place. This one makes all this transporting back and forth. And I-4 is way up there. I see my love. Blech. I-5, I-4. Woo! We made it in time. So if people are quick to answer you, you can get lots of extra stuff. Hello? Apparently I can't pick that trillium. Apparently those are not pickable trilliums. Okay. I almost missed a couple there. Look at that inventory. Just so full of flowers. And that's the new daily server event, kind of like the Grove in Bahari Bay. But yeah, if you're fast enough and people on the server are quick enough to answer you, you should be able to do at least 3, if not 4 even. Well, if there's high humidity, you'll just generally... What? Feed them, thank you. There's high humidity, like, even if it's cool out, you'll still feel like you're melting. Which sucks, because it's really not that cool out. Or, it was really cool out yesterday, but the humidity was still, like, moderate. And even then, it still felt quite warm. Alright, I'm gonna redeem those 2 hydrates. One for fantasy and one for Deathling. if I connect with the rock. Yeah, I feel like we changed the range of the pickaxe a little bit. Because points where I used to hit the rocks, I don't hit the rocks anymore. The only reason I'm gathering copper is because 1, I need money, and 2, I need things. You sell for money. I need so much money. Ah. Bad aim today. I still haven't gotten any of the Chapel plushes. Go turn in some stuff, the bundle. Alright, I don't have an eel. Let's go make oysters. Oh, those are gonna be hard to fill out. I have to find a regular emerald. I have a gold star emerald, but I need to turn in a regular emerald, and that's just like, ugh. We're gonna keep the mushrooms, we're gonna sell that. I don't know what drossweed is. Like, I've never seen that before. It's new. I've only seen it one place on the map, and that's up where we were gathering things. In this last round. I also wish I could right-click to sell a stack. Oh my lord. Or like shift right-click to sell a stack, you know? How much is this spicy honey-baked Muujin worth anyways? That's pretty good. For how fast you cook it and how easy the ingredients are to get, I think that might be my new way of selling things. And the bean burgers apparently are really good for money. People will stop doing cake parties and they now do burger parties, which I approve of, except for the fact that the burgers are made out of beans. And therefore they're not the actual burgers. Vegan. How close am I to 250k? Very far away. We're gonna be doing a lot of cooking. Cooking and fishing. We've got all these new flowers and new bushes. That's our new potato pod. Potatoes! Hey, fiddly-dee potatoes. I'm gonna put that there. I think we're gonna bake, just make a whole bunch of the honey-baked Muujin. I think that's probably the best way to go. Oh, we do need to make one of these. I could just pull it from my table in the back there, but can't wait till they give us second stories on our houses. I know they're working on it, just having some problems. Be potato. I think I'm bringing one of my wolf plushes called Fenrir to the theater tomorrow since they're having a Viking play tomorrow. Nice. So how close am I to 250k? I'm at 6.5. This is why. So these bean burgers, they sell for 228. Potato fries, 72. I don't think the flotatoes get used for anything else other than flotato fries. We'll see how much, oh yeah, that is not pleasant to, this is not pleasant to cook. I can see why there's burger parties, because, that big groups for this one. Bean paste. Neff is visiting the plot. Hi, Neff. If you come in and mix something real quick in my house, you'll be able to you'll be able to get in on the cooking here. Quick, cook something, Neff. Stir something. Participate. Yay, burgers! Woo! I'm gonna eat a bean burger now. A hunger. Hello! Everybody say hi to Neff! Thanks for the hydrate, Neff. That secret goal is to drown me. I nearly drowned at Conquest, which is funny because I didn't even go swimming. I was drinking a cup of tea, and it's like 2 tablespoons worth of tea, and I nearly drowned on it. So, find this spicy Muujin thing again. This. Spice honey Muujin bake. Oh, we're gonna add extra spice for us, apparently. You can do the next thing on that too. There, yeah. There we go. Or not. Alright. There, now you can do that one. Yes? No? Stream lag. It's stuff to sell. So these sell for 575 total for the stack of 5, so it's like what, 115? Yeah, 115. The bean burgers sell for 340, which is why they're so popular. The cake is 238. But the honey thing is a lot easier to make. I'll have to go collect more honey. I only have 11 honey. Okay, enough. You do that one on the table there. I am waiting patiently for the maid outfit to go back to on Paleo. Going short for regular price. Aw, rip. Yeah! Do you want me to make the oysters one, Naf, so that you can submit it to the thing? Wherever my oyster recipe is. Hello? Oh, why is this? Am I just bad at this? Ah, here's the oysters. Okay. Here we go. I will do the tomatoes. He's doing the onion. I will do the Muujin meat. Got garlic, do the spicy pepper, bake this, mix this, submit that. that gets you a bundle item, and I need to get you one more bundle item. What am I missing? It says I'm missing something. I'm missing Sweet Leaf. Do I not have any Sweet Leaf? Apparently I don't have any Sweet Leaf at all. I don't have any Sweet Leaf. What is wrong with me? Since I never go to Bahari anymore. Oh, put that there. That's for the bundle. Alright, well, I guess I'm going to quickly run over and drop off the oysters for the bundle. And then I'm gonna go hunt Sweet Leaf so that we can get Neff a cake. Because apparently I don't have any Sweet Leaf, which is shocking. Run into the wooden sign face first. It's very typical of me. Me, good old Harvey Wallbanger. See how to... Alright, we run over to Bahari. No, you can't drop it in the ground. You have to trade it. I will just go to Bahari Bay. We have to get you some, I think we have to get you some of the magical wood, too. You have 20 Sweet Leaf. Okay. Do you have the rest of the ingredients to start the celebration cake? Because, that's also a thing. That sounded like the, whatchamacallit? The Grove. Look, Sweet Leaf. Ooh, gold. I'll take that. Money. Now, what it sounded like was the Grove had appeared in here. But I could be wrong. Aha! I was correct. The Grove did appear here. Slap them all. Oh, those are the one hits. Alright, C6. So if anybody wants to come and get the grove, it's C6. I am going to collect rocks. While I wait for other people to show up. I recommend Neff show up, because if he doesn't have any of the magical wood, he's going to need it. Because you need it for the Bellflower set. For this month's challenge. / collection quest. Rocks and trees and trees and rocks. Give me our silk. Not so many people come for the grove anymore. It's kind of sad, really. Well, if you come to C6, server sync with me. VTuber throne. Wow. You know what they're after. Bug Scout buddies. I don't know if you guys are coming or not. Let me know, because I think it's just me and this guy otherwise. Oh, loading screen, yeah. Neff, are you coming? You gonna log out? Alright. Grab this sun drop away. Yay, Koneko has joined the server. Now I'm in a party. And there's my my apartment tour. Scheiße. Hello. Could I go to run faster? Yay! Slap trees. Oh, that tree just did not want to load. Alright, I'm gonna quickly go AFK. I will be back in a moment. Jesus Christ, that's so awkward. They were like just standing in the middle of the kitchen when I came out. Deeply awkward. Trees, rocks, wood, stuff. That was deeply awkward. Let's go grab Sweet Leaf. I'm so short on Sweet Leaf. It would have been nice if we could use honey and Sweet Leaf interchangeably. That would have made more sense, but I guess not. Ugh, I feel weird and skeeved out. I'm sure those people feel the same way too. But it's still like, ugh, having somebody, a stranger, come into your space and like look around. Ugh. And the guy just stood there by the door, and the girl like takes like 10 steps into the apartment, and she's like, okay. She liked the cats, though. The cats were good. More rocks. No, we were too far apart. The party range needs to be a little bit closer. Or a little bit more expanded. Where is all the sweet leaf in this world? Oh, fucking hell. Where did... Aha, got it. We just need stuff and things, man. What is... I can't hit anything to save my life today! Extra rocks. I see a sweet leaf. Anything up here? Rarities. Ooh. Hate being a reliable adult. Mm-hmm. The number of people that like a picked, I guess. Okay, well, yeah, our building's seeing like a mass exodus. It's kind of weird. But like, rents in the city have gotten too high, and so everybody's leaving. I mean, sweet leaf. I also feel like I need bright shrooms, but those are a little bit harder to find. Ooh. Ugh. Take the rocks. Ooh. White deer, white deer. Oh wait, freaking I want you to tag it. Yeah! Ooh, antlers, nice. No plush, but that's alright. I'm apparently out of my steel arrows, my iron arrow, whatever they are. Freaky. I need skirt leaf! I'll take the mushroom. Mushroom. This world is like devoid of sweet leaf. There's usually a bit of sweet leaf up here, right? Sweet leaf! It'd be nice if we found a gold vein. A really big gold vein. Half our floor is moving out. Yeah, that is true. I'll send that off. I love the courier pet thing. I love it so much. Extra rocks. Why can't I hit anything today? They must have changed the range for stuff, because I just can't hit shit. Let's see. Sometimes rocks down here. I see a blue cicada. Bring him. Extra iron. Oh yeah. I like the party system. Mushrooms. And a sudden case of brain fog, that's alright. We can get you cake later. Ladybug! Ladybug! Where did he go? Get him! Oh, no plush. I don't have a ladybug plush yet. Looking for Sweet Leaf. Ooh, blue shroom. Oh, oh, oh. Ladybug. Cicada man. The voice chat might be easier than trying to follow your instructions on stream on account of 30-second delay. Yeah. Why is there no Sweet Leaf in this world? Inventory is full. Let's toss that. This world is just completely devoid of Sweet Leaf. Rocks. I'm invisible? Oh no. What the I can't hit anything today. Here. Nothing. Sweet Leaf. Thanks, Sai. Sai snuck up on me and gave me some pineapple candy. Sweet Leaf. Blue shroom. And our white deer. No. I heard him up here. I think. Oh, he's right here. Wow, how I hit him from there, I don't know. Alright, I'll let Kanekachu get a hit on it here. Yay! But mushroom. Mushroom. Shiny mushroom. Need another pronghorn. I spent hours hunting one, it never spawned. If you use the magic horn, like the hunting horn, it'll help a lot. Oh, whoa, just appeared in front of me. Sometimes there are mushrooms here. No mushrooms. Well, it would have been nice to get a gold node. That would have been nice. I guess not. Any mushrooms? Chicken for the blue shrooms. My inventory's full, so I think I'm gonna go home and drop stuff off. And then I might end stream here, because I'm still not feeling well. Those are weird pineapple candies. Let's sell. Keep the briar daisies. Sell that. Keep those. Sell that. I'm gonna sell those 5 cakes. Need to make so much money, guys. I'm gonna sell those potatoes. Keep one of those to eat. The regular mushrooms will get turned into mushroom leather. clothes get turned into mushroom leather. And then we'll check. None of these are running. But that and that. Just making all the things. No, yeah, that. And let's see, how are we doing on ammo? I got lots of worms. I'm run out of literally everything else. Okay, yeah, it's the hunter's horn that you'll want to make. Eh! Thanks for the hiders, eye. Okay. So, I think I'm going to end stream here, so let's find somebody to raid. I just appeared back at the Bat Plush link that you sent me, Neff, and it's so cute. And since Evan came to us today, we will go raid Evan. It was nice of him to come by, so we're gonna go raid Evan. So we're off sailing to other waters, everybody. The fronds are washing ashore. Go and spread your seed. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you all for coming by, Necromancer. Thank you for hosting guests yet again. And I have some boxes to go pack, so I haven't done that in a couple of days. I need to go do that. So I'll see you guys tomorrow for another stream. Hopefully I'll be feeling better by then. I'm feeling a bit crusty today, so bye bye. I love you.